music and lyrics are the soundtrack of my evenings, surrounding me as I'm sitting at my drawing board. Inspiration, kind goddesses have colorful wings. We have harmony. Home, our secret stage of every age. When we engage, we each play our part in song and art. We know by heart. We know by heart. Your paintings and etchings are the stage set of my evenings, surrounding me as I'm sitting with guitar in hand. Inspiration, redemption stories flow through the strings. We have harmony. Home, our secret stage of every age. When we engage, we each play our part in song and art. We know by heart. Critics come and critics go, and some may never like our show. But if the world won't see and hear it, we applaud each other's spirit. Home, our secret stage of every age. When we engage, we each play our part.
Hi, my name is Angelo Lopez. I am a Filipino-American cartoonist and fine artist based in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I have the great pleasure today to speak to two wonderful musicians, Rebecca and Gary Parks.
Glad to be here.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Well, actually, I should thank you. This is your house. Well, thank you for inviting me to your home. But I think we met 15 years ago, right, at the Sunnyvale Art Gallery.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on October 11th, you'll be releasing 3 albums.
Yes.
Okay, and Secret Stage.
Yes. And in
Adventures.
fact, I have pictures here. You can't really see them. I could wander over to the camera and do a little show and tell.
Oh, sure. Or I can also edit it into the Zoom.
True. Yeah.
Yeah,
We can do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there is, what the heck? I'll have a little bit of fun here. Let me know if it's centered in the camera there.
That's good.
Yeah.
Secret Stage is originals, and Adventures with Amy is solo guitar work. And dyad is cover tunes.
Oh.
Our favorite music that we do over the years.
Oh.
So, a little show and tell there.
Oh, thank you. Today, we'll be talking about their musical influences, the craft of singing and songwriting, and their newest music and stuff. So thank you both and stuff. And like I said, we met 15 years. I think it's been 10 years since we last talked, right?
About that, yeah.
About that, except on Facebook.
Yeah. We've written each other a lot.
Yeah.
And seen your art that's come out, over the years. It's been fun to see that too.
Yeah. Well, I'm mostly focused on my political cartoons, but it's been.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I wasn't doing the particular subjects I was doing and stuff because I prefer the president that we have now. We didn't have and stuff. So.
Yes.
Yeah, but okay. Well, let me ask my first question and stuff. Okay. Now, Rebecca, you're a songwriter, right? Who are some musicians and what are some albums that have been influential to you?
Well, I guess it kind of started when I was a kid. Both of my parents had, really wide music collections, and they listened to classical, Broadway. My mom really liked some of the folk, and my dad started with the Beatles and increasingly got into rock music. By the late 70s, he was playing Tommy by The Who. And but I remember my mom was a big fan of Joan Baez. And people sometimes tell me that I sound like her, and I always find it incredibly flattering.
Yeah.
But then in junior high school, I discovered Joni Mitchell, and she just expanded the concept of what you could do in a song so vastly.
When you say that, is it the lyrics you're talking about, or is it the songwriting?
The lyrics and the music both.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, she started out in folk, but by the late 70s, when I was in high school, she had to work with jazz musicians because they were the only ones who could keep up with all those amazing chords that she managed to find.
So it's the complexity of her music that kind of lit showed you the way.
Well, I mean, it's very complex, and it's multi-layered, but at the same time, it's very emotionally impactful.
Okay. I only know Blue and stuff, so I don't know her
Well,
jazz records.
Yeah, my favorite album, I mean, I love Blue, but my favorite album of hers is actually Hejira.
Oh, okay.
And probably my favorite song on the album is Amelia, which is this 7-verse epic about, it's about Amelia Earhart, but it's also about her leaving a relationship.
Oh, okay.
And she kind of weaves those both in with just amazing imagery.
Yeah. Were you influenced by her singing style too, or?
Somewhat. She's very much a soprano, and I'm more of a contralto.
Oh,
so,
okay. Okay. Well, Gary, for you as a singer and stuff, what have been the singers who've influenced you?
Oh boy, well, being a baritone at first, when my voice changed, it was like, oh, I have a middle range voice. Well, growing up in our home, it was all classical music and Broadway show tunes all the time. That was pretty much the only music that played in our house. That was what my parents were into. So, and then I took piano lessons, and of course, they sort of assumed that it would be sort of moving toward the classical and stuff. And I didn't get very far with piano. I tried to make my parents happy, and it just didn't take. But then I got voice lessons, and that was again classical, so opera and oratorio, which was great. I mean, I learned how to project so you can fill a 3,000-seat hall without a microphone. However, that's not going to work too well with popular music, so I had to kind of teach myself how to deal with microphones and things like that.
I did too. I took also classical voice.
Right.
And it's like, We don't need no singing microphones.
But at the end,
With the voice, is it the breathing?
it's breathing and
Okay.
your stance and your phrasing and the shaping
And
of
what
the
they call
words.
placement, which is
Placement.
kind of where the
Yep.
sound reverberates in your
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
head.
Yeah. My voice teacher used to quote his voice teacher, who had been this older Russian woman, and he would say, he would quote her, and he would say, "You must learn to feel yourself, if you excuse the expression." Anyway, yeah, well, my teacher was full of that stuff. Anyway, very funny guy. But anyway, but he'd been in the Metropolitan Opera for a while. But anyway, at the time this was happening was also the golden age of arena rock. Now, the thing about that was those guys were tenors and lyric tenors, and they had these high voices, Wheel in the Sky Keeps Turning, and Spirit of Radio, and all that good stuff, and More Than a Feeling, and I couldn't do that. And it was I wanted to be cool. I was this nerdy kid, art nerd, Lord of the Rings nerd, Star Trek nerd, Star Wars, all that stuff, and I had my little group of friends, but I also I had a couple friends who knew how to play rock guitar and stuff, and one guy was a visual artist too. And you know, he kind of hung with a different crowd, but we would get together and talk about art and stuff like that. And I'd be like, "Man, that guitar solo was great that you played it during lunch." You know, like, yeah. It's like, oh, yeah, I want to be that guy. But what happened though was then after high school, you know, punk had happened, and I just thought that was a bunch of musical disorganization. I was like, what? You know, what's all that? I didn't understand the sociology behind it, but
Microphone feedback solos.
yeah, things like that, you know.
Yes.
But then what happened was when you had post-punk and new wave and stuff, you had all these guys from England. Not only they had these cool accents, but they were baritones, and I could sing their stuff.
Yeah.
So I could drive down the road in my little Honda car playing Depeche Mode, and at the end of the song, my throat wouldn't hurt. It was like, this is great. I like this stuff. And it was moody. It appealed to my darker side. If I'd have been young now, I'd probably be a goth, because as a kid, the Haunted Mansion ride and Night on Bald Mountain were my two favorite things. Okay, the dark, the spooky, haunted things, and all that. And so they were all into that, and so I was kind of like, oh, this is cool.
I also was really into the new wave. I mean, I didn't stop with Joni Mitchell by any means. You know, we've on the Cover Tunes album, we cover everybody from Crosby, Stills and Nash to Led Zeppelin.
Oh, wow.
But in between, we've got the Church, Susie and the Banshees, and, you know, and stuff like that. You know, people that are fun, you know. And
does the mix of styles, it gives you a breadth, I guess. You can instead of just tapping into one genre, you can tap into many different genres, both in your singing and songwriting.
And I mean, both of us grew up with Broadway musicals, and in a Broadway musical, you can't stick to just one style of music for 2 hours. Because it will bore the audience. You have to, you know, change up the tempos and change up the moods, but also kind of change the styles a bit too. And then you keep the audience more engaged.
Does it keep it fresh for both of you too? Because you're, you know, when you incorporate a style, it keeps things interesting for you on a artistic level for both of you. Is that true, or?
Yeah. There's one little exception to the whole post-punk new wave thing as far as the voice goes. Soon after that time, I went back in time and discovered the Doors. Now, I'd heard their music as a little kid growing up, first part of childhood in Southern California, you know, blaring out of people's cars and stuff, and at the beach and whatever. And you know, so like, it was kind of spacey and moody, and again, it was it was goth before goth was hip, although with a lot of blues in it, right? You know, but and he was a favorite singer of a lot of gothic, a lot of those British guys and stuff. But the thing is, with that, they're also very theatrical and cinematic. And so much so that my mom, when I was a kid, when she heard Jim Morrison's voice, she was like, "Oh!" She also saw his picture, and she was like, "Oh!" I was like, "Yeah, I wish I had his hair." I wish I had hair. But anyway,
you're not the only one,
brother. But anyway, but no. The thing is with his style too, and we cover a Doors tune on the covers album.
Oh.
And I've with other musicians we've covered other Doors tunes and stuff, some of the faster stuff, and it's just so fun to sing.
Yeah.
And the thing about singing in your own range and not trying to be somebody else is you wind up picking songs. You know, the words might be a little disturbing or a little bit. Well, I'd never lived like that persona, but I will choose songs by what they feel like anatomically as I sing them,
Yeah.
as well as emotionally. And it's
Yeah.
like, what words when I sing them, is it the vocal equivalent of having chocolate cheesecake?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay? It's like the act of singing the song is like a really good dessert, you know?
So it's not just technique, it's okay, like when you hear Hank Williams or you hear
Sure.
or you hear Dylan and stuff. Technically they're not not the greatest singer,
Technically, maybe not.
but they're such distinctive voices and stuff that when you hear Dylan and there's a sort of emotion behind it that
There's a conviction.
sure. I couldn't think of the right words, but conviction and stuff.
Yeah.
Is that part of the phrasing? Is that part of the emotive force behind singing? I guess.
Yeah. There are a few songs that one in particular that we've been singing for years and years. You know, one in particular, an original that Rebecca wrote, and you know, it's sort of a tongue-in-cheek song. It's called "Bad Boss Blues." But I have always tried to sing it a little different every time. And we have a good musician friend who's heard us many, many, many times. And one time he said to that, he said, he was talking to another person. He said, every time he sings that, it's different.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, now that's a challenge. I have to make it different. And so if he's around, I really, you know, I play with it every time I do it. But if he's around, if Bob's around, it's like, oh, okay, what can I really do that I know he hasn't heard before? Yeah. And so it's really fun. But I try to apply that a little bit, to a lesser degree, to some of the other songs that we do. Now, when Rebecca and I are singing together, I'm doing usually doing harmony on stuff she's already written. So I don't want to throw her any vocal curveballs while she's singing with me, especially if she's on lead, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, oops, you know, we don't want to throw each other off.
Yeah.
But then maybe I'm taking a turn on a verse or something. I'm going to massage this, have some fun.
Yeah.
Chorus time. Now it's time to be kind of marching along.
Is that sort of the singer's prerogative, right?
Yeah.
Is to find something in the lyrics and then bring it out, I guess. Is that so? When you write your lyrics and stuff, is that what you're thinking and stuff? Are you thinking in terms of a certain emotion, I guess?
Well, usually I'm trying to tell a story or to convey a message. Yeah. And some of the songs that we'll get to later, I think that will be evident. Yeah. You know, what the song is trying to do. Okay.
Yeah, I know you both are Beatle fans, right?
Oh, so, sure.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I saw this in the YouTube video. Are you more Lennon or are you more McCartney in terms of your...
You know, I think the combination is really amazing. I mean, Lennon it was sort of the serious and intense one, and McCartney was the very sort of melodic, kind of chill one.
Yeah, the more romantic.
And I think the combination of the two of them
was what made them so great.
But you know, George Harrison wrote.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, my wife, that's her favorite George and stuff.
Yeah,
so yeah, I used to be John, but now I like all four of them. And so, even Ringo, he's kind of a goofy. You know, he didn't write that many songs.
No,
but
there's
Back Off Boogaloo is actually a pretty funny song.
Yeah, there's Yellow Submarine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. I hope you didn't mind, but to prepare for this talk, I went on your Facebook page. So,
sure.
You know, so I hope I'm not being creepy. So,
no,
but
if we worried about that, we wouldn't be up there.
Yeah, I wouldn't make public posts if I didn't want people to, comment on them.
Yeah, but in one of your posts, you mentioned that you were in a martial arts cult.
Yes.
How did that influence your music?
Well, it actually influenced my life, all aspects. But when I was kind of young and naive in my mid-20s, I was, kind of lonely and kind of wondering what to do with the rest of my life. I mean, I've been established in a career, but I was struggling a little bit finding friends and dealing with dating. Yeah. And a lot of what I was going through is just very typical of people my age, but
Yeah.
I, being kind of introverted and nerdy, I struggled with it maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
And, it looked really kind of fun and exciting, and I'd always wanted to learn to defend myself.
Yeah.
And I also, really liked some of the spiritual aspects that this particular school was teaching. But I really didn't realize fully what I was getting into until I had actually, committed to it. And this is very common in cults, where it's kind of bait and switch. They advertise this lifestyle, this, vision and goal that you can be a part of, that sounds really amazing and kind of utopian and idealistic.
Yeah.
But then you get into it and you realize that they work you pretty hard, first of all. And second of all, that really it's kind of all about glorifying a leader.
Oh, okay.
And these groups tend to be enticing. They're trying to always recruit members, and deceptive. As I said, you don't really learn about all the aspects of membership until you commit. And then they also tend to be rather authoritarian. It's basically one person or a few people calling all the shots for everybody in the group.
Yeah.
And it's actually, I sometimes describe it as a dictatorship writ small. There's this continuum of abuse and exploitation, which starts at the level of, say, a dysfunctional family that has domestic violence or something else happening, and then goes all the way up to countries that are led by dictators or some really draconian ideology. But in the middle, there are all of these groups, and I mean, some of them are typical cults that are like religious or, new age kind of things. But there's also like therapy cults. There's political cults. There's a variety of things. I mean, there was one cult expert who said that in her travels, she had encountered a hairdressing cult and a bowling cult. So they can be centered
I would
on
never
just
go into a
about
hairdressing
anything.
cult.
Yeah.
We're safe. We're safe.
Yeah, I know. That's
But-
one particular
All right, another
cult
one. Go on.
I would never get into.
Okay. But a lot of my songs reflect that experience. And some of the songs are like really obviously about cults. For example, on my first album, not one of the three that I just am releasing now, but on my first album in 2004, there was a song called Playing God, which was about the cult leader. And then in 2011, when I released my second CD, there was actually the title track was called Messiah Refugee. And it was basically about leaving a religious group and kind of finding God on my own. And those are just really obviously about cults. But and then on the latest album on Secret Stage, I have a song called If You've Seen One Cult.
And so that's pretty
it's,
explicit.
It's kind of lighthearted, but all of those songs are very obviously about cults. But there are a lot of other songs that are maybe not as obvious, but are still about cults. Or about abuse of power more generally. There's a song on the first album called World in His Pocket about a gazillionaire who's kind of running all sorts of things and
More social justice.
graft and exploitation.
Yeah.
Social justice.
Yeah.
And then on Secret Stage, there's a song that's probably among the ones that I'll be playing for you, which is about how Germany copes with the darkest part of their history. And the relationship to cults, you know, if you listen to it, you can hear that.
Yeah. I'm curious. With the cult experience, I always assume that if you lose your individuality, you lose yourself. And part of the process of getting out of a cult is trying to find yourself again. Is that theme kind of run through your work too, I guess? Because okay, you know, for Germany, you mentioned Germany. After World War II, it had to, you know, the Nazis wanted Germans only to be a certain way. And the Germans had to learn that you can be Jewish and still be a true German. You could, you know, you didn't have to fit one thing, and that they had to find a new way of being themselves and stuff. Is that part of the maybe part of it in your songs, but also just in your own journey away from that cult, trying to find yourself again?
The pressure to conform
Yeah.
in cults is
Yeah.
very strong. It doesn't encompass your entire identity. I mean,
Oh.
cults vary in their
Okay.
degree of extremism, but
Okay.
in the cult that I was in, my identity was not completely submerged, but
Yeah.
I had to take on behaviors and attitudes that were consistent with the cult leader, what the cult leader wanted.
Yeah.
And I had to put aside my music. I was allowed to occasionally do musical things if they served her purpose. And in fact, music was kind of a big part of what got me out.
Yeah.
One of the things that we did in the cult was we all went out to the movies together sometimes.
Oh. Okay.
At least the core group of about maybe between 20 and 30 people, depending. And we saw a movie where I heard the voice in the soundtrack of Peter Gabriel.
Oh.
And he was one of the artists I really admired in the early 80s. And it was not one of the best songs that he had ever written, and it was not one of the best movies I'd ever seen. But just hearing his voice made me homesick for the music that I loved and for my own music.
Yeah.
And at that point, as I described in that Facebook post, I started taking every Sunday to do music projects on my own. And I told the cult leader and other people in the group that the rest of the week, you know, Monday through Saturday, you could direct me anywhere you want. I will just participate in everything. But Sunday, I need for myself and my music. And I didn't ask permission. And the music was not for the leader or for the group. It was for me.
Yeah.
And basically doing something that does not in some way serve the cult is a cardinal sin.
Oh. Okay.
And I left not too long after that.
It sounded like the music saved you.
Yeah, I mean, there were other factors too.
Oh. Okay.
There were other just sort of gnawing progressive disillusionment about a lot of things that were happening in there. But the music was definitely a part of me that I missed and really wanted to get back.
Because I guess the music is part of you and stuff, and in finding the music in, you found yourself again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah. When you listen to Peter Gabriel, this a sense of fondness, you know, is there a sense of fondness listening to him just because of the role he played in helping you get out of that cult, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's one artist that I admire among quite a few, but yeah, I mean, he was the artist that I heard when I was ready to just, you know, ready to break out.
Oh, okay. It's very moving, actually. It's a very moving story. Gosh, but I'm glad it did. I'm gonna have to start listening to Peter Gabriel more. I like his songs, but
Yeah, some of his early stuff. One of my favorite songs of his is Salisbury Hill, and it's not. We didn't choose to put it on the CD, but we are known to play it on occasion.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you and stuff. Yeah. Okay. Well, another thing that I read in your Facebook page is that you started taking acoustic fingerstyle guitar lessons, and it got me wondering: is there a difference between writing songs on the guitar as opposed to writing songs on the piano?
There is. I mean,
Oh.
you can play any song pretty much on any instrument.
Oh.
But yeah, there's some songs that kind of lend themselves more to one instrument or the other. And in fact, I mean, I taught myself to play the piano starting when I was 9 years old.
Oh.
And that's a whole story. And in fact, I posted about that on Facebook too.
Yeah.
But I had been playing only piano and keyboards all of that time. And then at the age of 45, I decided to take up guitar as well. And after a couple of years of group lessons at Griffin with Carol McComb, I was prepared to get a private teacher and really, start digging into it more. And I had all these songs that I'd written on piano that I wanted to be able to play on guitar.
Oh.
So I asked several different people, do you know of a guitar teacher who could help me arrange original songs for guitar? And 3 of those people mentioned the same teacher, who is Stevie Coyle, who's an amazing fingerstyle guitarist.
Okay.
And so I approached him about lessons, and he agreed to teach me. And for about the first year of our lessons, I would bring in my portable keyboard and my guitar, and I would play him a song that I had written on piano, and then I would, maybe if I had an idea about something to do on guitar, I would play him a little bit of that. But sometimes I was just like, I don't know where to start. And then he would suggest some things, and we'd kind of collaborate on arrangements.
Oh. Okay.
So it was really, really a cool way to have guitar lessons.
Yeah. Was it helpful for you on expanding your horizons? And
Oh,
stuff?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and it's much it's easier to have a much more portable instrument.
Okay. Oh yeah, you can't lug around a piano, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious. This just popped in my mind. Did you guys see the Beatles Get Back documentary?
I don't think we saw that
Oh
one.
no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
we've seen several Beatles documentaries over the years. and,
Okay,
you know.
because it shows them creating the songs for Get Back. And
Oh,
stuff,
okay.
And stuff.
okay.
I was just curious.
Yeah,
and stuff.
no.
Because
yeah.
because you my question is that I'm trying to figure out your creative process, and it sounds a lot of it is there's a sense of wonder, and is that true for you both? Is that there's a sense of wonder and discovery? Okay, you're playing the piano now. When you play guitar, that's a new sense of discovery. You're discovering something new that you and there's this. At least when I look at your face, it looks like there's a sense of wonder. Is that true or
Well,
no?
yeah. I mean, music is really kind of amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
it's amazing that vibrating strings and string ratios and all these things that can be described in terms of physics and math
Yeah.
move us emotionally.
Yeah. Okay. I'm curious. With guitar, does your folk influences come out more?
Yeah.
And whereas with piano, is it more Broadway or
Yeah.
what are the influences for piano as opposed to your influences on guitar?
Well, really, you hear both instruments in most popular music, a lot of Broadway even.
Oh, okay.
You don't hear guitar as much in classical music. Some, I mean, people like Segovia, but it's actually kind of different. It's a very different instrument that classical guitarists play. It's nylon strings rather than steel strings. The steel string guitar is a bit louder, more strident.
Oh, okay.
The techniques are different.
Oh.
For example, for some chords, I'll actually wrap my thumb around and get the lowest bass string.
Yeah.
And this is an absolute no-no in classical guitar that the folk fingerstyle guitarists gleefully ignore.
But is folk more nylon or is it more
Steel
No?
string.
Okay.
As is rock and
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, electric guitar is its own thing.
Of course, that's
Yeah. Okay. Were you influenced by the nylon or?
I dabbled in guitar briefly for one summer in the middle of high school, but and that was a nylon string. So the memory that I have of what it feels like is cut from that. But I did the piano lessons for a while as a kid. While I didn't become what you'd say really proficient, I took for several years, but what it did give me is a basic idea of looking at music and getting the timing and everything, the timing and the rhythm. What does it look like on paper or on a screen? And I can greater appreciate what Rebecca's doing when she builds a song, or when anybody is creating a song or performing it. It's kind of like there's a level that I can see and understand. What they're doing and what goes into it. And of course, when you perform yourself, of course, oh yeah, they're doing that. Oh yeah, nice.
So do you lug your guitar in a park? I can write a song outside, whereas in a piano, by the fact that it's so clunky, by necessity, you have to do it indoors, I guess.
Well, there are limits. You wouldn't want to. Some people talk about their beach guitar, where they have an old beat up guitar that they don't mind taking to the beach to get it even more beat up. You don't want to take your guitar into an environment where it's difficult. But certainly a keyboard is just not as portable. I joke to people that a guitar is an accessory. You can, throw it over your shoulder and walk down the street with it. But a keyboard is furniture.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The reason I'm asking is because I'm pretty ignorant of music in terms of songwriting and stuff. So I'm just curious and stuff. But
You're asking good questions.
I hope so. Yeah, I'm curious. Okay. You wrote a song, "Part of Me." What was the inspiration to that song?
Well, that one is kind of unusual. I have a genetic condition called polycystic kidney disease. And I knew as soon as I was diagnosed that eventually my kidneys would fail before I would otherwise be, I knew that they would probably fail sometime in my 50s. And my mother and grandmother both had it. It's a dominant pattern of inheritance. So it isn't like you can silently carry it. And have to have genes from both parents. You only need it from one parent. You either have it or you don't. And so I had 50% chance of getting it, and I got it. And I did pretty well. I made it all the way to 59 as opposed to 48 when my mother and grandmother had kidney failure. But still, it caught up with me. And my best girlfriend, whom I had known since I was in college, she had known all this time that I had this disease. And I, occasionally would tell her, I went to the doctor and my kidney function is down a bit more. And then finally, a few years ago, I told her that my kidney function was low enough that I qualified for being on a transplant list. And she absolutely shocked me by saying, "I want to be your donor." And she had already figured out that we had the same blood type. And I was just flabbergasted because I didn't have to ask. She just offered. And it was a total surprise.
It must have been very moving.
Well, I thought she saved my life, so the least I could do is write her a song.
Yeah. Oh, has she heard the song yet?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's moving and stuff.
And it's interesting, because there's been several songs that Rebecca's written over the years where it's kind of like, wow, how can she get that song out? I'd be all choked up, and everything. And, when it's like that, and she's first performing things like that out, I try to be sort of elsewhere because if I get choked up or something, it's like, no, don't look at me. You're supposed to pay attention to the song. People shouldn't be sitting there going, "Oh, God, is Gary okay? What's up?" But then after time goes by, it becomes a professional thing. You're out there, you play. Yep, here comes that doozy of a song. It's kind of like, I've heard it before. I know what it's about. Know what's behind it. Everything like that. But yeah, there's a few things she's written where it's like, I hear it and I go, oh, whoa, yeah.
But is that part of the? I guess in that particular, are you playing backup and stuff?
Well, most of these are ones that she's done solo. And,
okay.
And
sometimes we do harmonies.
Yeah. Well, no, we do that. But on the ones where like it took several listens before I wouldn't get too emotionally involved, those are ones where I wasn't on it. I mean, if I've got something that I have to sing, I try to turn on the. Okay, I'm here to entertain you, so I'm not going to get over the top emotional. Just go click, and it's like, okay, harmonies, focus on the harmonies. Okay, that note.
How do you do that? I mean, this sounds very emotional. How do you sing without breaking?
If I've first written something and it's pretty raw, then I do have a hard time not getting choked up. But after a while, I just kind of get used to it.
Okay.
It's sort of like, the very first time that you see a movie that just really amazes you, you're just reacting emotionally all the time. And then, after you've seen that movie maybe half a dozen times, or, for example, It's a Wonderful Life. I mean, everybody's familiar with that movie.
Yeah.
If you've never seen it before, it's really emotionally powerful.
Yeah.
But if you see it every year at Christmas for 20 years, you still appreciate it, still enjoy it, but you're not going to be like knocked out by it the way you were the first time you saw it.
So as part of that, just having written, this is you've written several albums before, so you've perfected your craft from your first album to this one, right?
Well, it's a process. I think I'm better at everything, but
So I'm wondering if you had this song in their first album and stuff, it'd be very different than their current album because you've just had more practice writing songs.
Mm-hmm.
Does the craft, now that you don't have to worry about the craft so much, you're just more worried about conveying the emotion. Is that true, or is that?
Well, you always worry about the craft, but it just gets easier with practice.
Yeah,
I would say. And, I don't write a song unless I feel strongly about something.
Yeah.
So the emotion is always there.
Yeah, okay. It's not just, you're not writing for the monkeys, I guess. Although I like the monkeys a lot and stuff, but it's not, that's sort of a bad pull on the monkeys. They did, I guess more like, some in the 60s, there were these songwriters. They wrote to order. Does that make sense?
A
the
stable of
Tin Pan Alley and I forgot the writers who did this stuff with like Neil Diamond, Carole King, and her husband. I forget his name, but
Jerry Goffin.
Yeah. So they wrote to order. The show said.
Well, you can still have a song that is impactful, even if it's written to order. And in fact, it probably won't become a hit unless it does resonate with people emotionally.
Yeah. I was just thinking that in terms of like, sometimes you get the craft so down and stuff that you can just, at least from when I've heard of those singers and stuff, man, they're just in a room. Mm-hmm. Okay, we need 2 songs for this, boom, 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 and stuff. For you, is it more organic and stuff? You're not just saying, okay, today I'm going to write 3 songs. Boom,
well,
boom, boom.
Yeah, I tend, because I've been a songwriter on the side. Until last year, I was working in tech as my day job.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have to crank out songs to make a living, and so I just wrote when I felt like it.
Okay.
About whatever I wanted to. So I didn't really have to write songs to order. And so I consider myself lucky, actually. Because I could do what I pleased.
In terms of arrangement, in terms of the singing and stuff, like I know with Simon and Garfunkel, Simon would write the songs, but Garfunkel would every once in a while say, maybe we should try this or that and stuff. Is that, do you have that sort of
Gary
There's
usually
been a
comes
couple
up with
times.
his own harmonies.
Harmonies, yeah. They'll
Yeah.
become, occasionally I'll get stuck and she'll go, try this note, whatever. But yeah, 9 times out of 10, the harmonies are mine.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's no theory behind it. I just listened to lots and lots of music. When I was a kid hearing the Beatles, that's how I kind of gave myself lessons in harmony. I would challenge myself to find a harmony in between the ones that they were doing. Not always successful, but when it was like, yeah, this is great. And I learned to, and I can't really put it into words what goes on in here. It's just I hear it and I kind of know where to go. And it's sort of
It's instinctive.
Imagine you're on a roller coaster and there are other roller coaster tracks above you and below you, and you're going like this. And you're never going to hit those other tracks, but you're on it, and together you're a roller coaster. If that means anything. Of course, you don't want more than one train on a roller coaster at once. But anyway, metaphor.
There's a stereotype. Do you guys practice harmonies in the bathroom?
I don't
know.
think
Back in my
There's a stereotype
teenage
of
and
that. And
20s, I used to sing in the bathroom a lot. Oh, a good bathroom with lots of tile, man.
a lot of reflective surfaces so you can hear yourself.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
When you watch movies, sometimes you see these doo-wop groups, singing in the bathroom, right? But I didn't know
Weird
that.
Al, his first album was just him and his accordion. And he recorded it in the men's room of the architecture building at Cal Poly.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm serious. In fact, there is a commemorative plaque right next to the bathroom door now.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, what, My Bologna, I think it was.
Yeah.
That was on Dr. Neveno when I was in high school. I remember that. That was my first.
I don't know if it was on the first album, but songs like Another One Rides the Bus.
That was a little later, but yes.
I think it was, they did a celebration of him. Because it was his anniversary and people didn't realize just how big his catalog is.
And he's written a lot of original songs. He doesn't just do parodies of other people's stuff.
Yeah. Okay. But a new generation is discovering him right now and stuff. I just saw a video of these young kids listening to him for the first time, and they were amazed. They loved it and stuff. Yeah. Does it make you happy that the musicians that you loved, a new generation is finding and loving?
We meet people who know more about like Simon and Garfunkel or Carole King than we do. I mean, kids in their 20s. So, sometimes.
Several months back we were playing in Salinas, and these two teenage boys sat down, and they were really into what we were doing. That was obvious. Their attention was very focused. And they said, "Oh, we like what you're doing," and everything like that. And I said, "Well, what do you guys like?" And I was thinking, they're going to probably tell me about some artists that I don't know about or something like that. And I try to stay up a little bit on what's new. But, and they said, "Oh, we like 80s stuff." So I'm going, that could be a lot. Are they into Prince? Are they into Madonna? Or are they into, the Cult or something like that? I really don't know. What are they into? And I said, "You guys like Tears for Fears?" And I said, "Well, we cover them." I said, "However, you probably won't recognize it. It's one that Tears for Fears came up with about 3 years ago." And they're like, "Oh yeah." But then I broke into an a cappella version of Shout. And I did it in my best kind of Roland Orzabal articulation and everything, because it's like these guys want to hear it as close as possible, so it really nails it. And they're like, "Yeah, that's great." And I said, "Well, now here's the Tears for Fears one that you probably don't know." So we did Rivers of Mercy, and
we did a couple of originals.
Did a couple of things, and did a bunch of stuff that they heard.
But they wanted our
like,
CDs.
We want our albums. This is before the new ones were out, so we had these 2 older ones, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna."
Is it enriching to meet fans?
Oh yeah.
Because
especially if it's somebody that you wouldn't normally expect.
Oh, okay.
People young enough to be our grandchildren.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But each generation, when they discover music and stuff, it doesn't. Each genre, in the '90s, I heard that. What's his name? I Left My Heart in San Francisco.
Yeah,
Tony Bennett.
Yeah.
He
He started going in clubs, and young people's clubs, and they just rediscovered the
Oh,
song,
yeah.
the American songbook.
In the early
And that was wonderful.
In the early 90s, Live 105, back when it was still doing a lot of post-punk and new wave stuff,
Yeah.
that was their main stuff. It was just before grunge came in. They had some events where they had some bands that were big at the time, but they bring Tony Bennett in on the same bill, and they promoted him like he was the greatest new secret. But caution, your parents like him. And they marketed it just right, and people. I heard feedback. There was like people saying it was like, and Tony Bennett was awesome.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
And he just kind of came in and said, the way he approached it apparently was just kind of like, hey guys, look at all you young guys. Thanks for having me here. We're gonna have a good time, and just with all the confidence in the world, of course.
And I'm glad that he had the open-mindedness to try out something new.
Yeah. And then of course in recent years working with Lady Gaga, and both of this mutual respect.
Yeah.
Just wow. And of course she has a voice where she can do songbook stuff. She can do that.
Yeah. So okay. Well, okay.
Yeah.
I want to give you a chance to perform, but before I do, tell me about the 3 albums that will be released October 11th.
Yes. Well, I already did my little show and tell for the camera, but the first one is called Secret Stage, and it is a bunch of original songs. A lot of them have social justice themes.
Okay.
Some of them have themes about, getting older, or Secret Stage is about our relationship.
It's a more personal.
Yeah. And so, it covers a lot of territory. And there's kind of some fun stuff, like there's a couple of songs about the music business. Like there's one called To San Francisco for Nashville, which is what a song publisher actually told me, that he said, you're a really great writer, but your style is just too, and then he was going, to San Francisco for the country market. So I wrote To San Francisco for Nashville, kind of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge of that.
Okay.
But there's, a variety of stuff on there. Some lighthearted stuff, some really heavy stuff.
Yeah.
And then Adventures with Amy is solo guitar work, and it's bookended by a Beatles medley, which is While My Guitar Gently Weeps, You Won't See Me, and In My Life, which is, pretty demanding guitar work, and then ends with a Beethoven sonata. It's the second movement of the Sonata Pathétique by Beethoven, and it's pretty demanding.
I like the diversity though. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then there's a few sort of karaoke, like solo guitar karaoke tracks, kind of backing tracks of some of the songs that I wrote, where I thought that the accompaniment kind of stood enough on its own that people might want to, have it playing in the background.
Yeah, or even sing along if they know it from.
And then as I said, the covers. They range from.
We got.
We've got something by Split Ends,
Toad the
which
Wet
was
Sprocket.
sort of
Yeah.
Toad the Wet
I
Sprocket.
haven't heard that name in years.
We have something by Sting via Eva Cassidy.
The Doors, Susie and the Banshees, Collective Soul.
Just a
The Church.
wide variety of stuff.
Tears for Fears, of course.
And a folkified cover that I won't give away, but
No.
it's something you would never expect.
No, exactly. But there's the Zeppelin tune also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
there's
a lot
a
of your music
bunch
has
of
an edge.
Yeah.
A lot of the music you like has an edge.
Yeah. No.
sometimes musically, sometimes lyrically, often both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll and I love the writing of the stories that are told in contemporary folk and classic folk. The stories are wonderful. Same thing with country.
Yeah.
Wonderful stories. It's paint these pictures, cliche, but paint these pictures, right?
Yeah.
But I tend to be a little more electric in the stuff I listen to, definitely.
Yeah.
Been listening to a lot of stuff by Garbage lately.
Yeah,
They're very
yeah.
political. They're very powerful. We're going to see them on their farewell tour up at the Mountain Winery. Well, we've seen them twice before. It's like we got to see them. But you know, and then when Tears for Fears came back, we like them. We've seen Collective Soul. Not Split Ends, but Crowded House comes to town.
Okay.
She's like, let's go see Crowded House again.
Okay.
You know, and then they're
Neil Finn is actually one of my favorites.
Is he more soulful?
he's
No,
definitely not.
he started out in Split Ends, which was kind of a punk band out of New Zealand.
Maybe I'm mixing.
But then he brought in more sort of a pop influence.
Oh, okay.
But his songs, they're incredibly clever harmonically.
Oh,
And yet they're just really singable.
oh, yeah.
His lyrics tend to be just sort of interesting imagery where you don't know quite what he's talking about sometimes, but you know, these pictures
There's
come
more
up in your
word
mind.
association, right?
Yeah, it's well, no, he paints pictures for you. I mean,
Okay.
it's not a random word salad, but it
Yeah.
is. It's like the pictures. Sometimes they're about something that you can kind of put your finger on, and other times it's just you just enjoy the ride.
Yeah. I think I was confusing them with Simply Red.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Simply Red.
Yeah,
They
they're
were-
very
let's
different
not-
bands.
let's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
forget-
yeah.
Very different.
Yeah, I was mixing them up and stuff. Yeah.
And don't forget Simple Minds too.
Yeah,
I used to
yeah.
like to sing along with them too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Crowded House is very different.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, and Crowded House was versatile because at the time they got pretty popular. You could hear them on Live 105, as I remember, the old pre-grunge Live 105. And then you could also hear them on the since gone station KKSF, which was sort of smooth jazz, adult contemporary.
Because of the
and stuff
harmonic
like that.
complexity.
The harmonics, it was
They kind of fit
they
in
had it on their
with
playlist
jazz
too.
as well.
Well, the same thing was for Sting.
A little like Joni Mitchell.
Yeah.
Well, the music by Sting was also,
Well, he went through a
Yeah.
jazz phase.
he did that, and that
He
wound up.
actually
That wound
started
up on
out
smooth
as a
stations,
jazz bassist and singer and songwriter, and Stuart Copeland recruited him into the Police.
Yeah.
And Sting hadn't really done punk.
Yeah.
But you know, that's what kind of band Stuart Copeland wanted to
plus some
form.
reggae.
Yeah, reggae. I was going to say
And
reggae.
so they kind of did the thing that was popular in Britain at the time, you know, some punk and some reggae and some pop and kind of a mixture of influences.
Yeah.
But Sting, his roots were always in jazz.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But he was also a great fan of all different kinds of music. For example, we talked about one time when Jimi Hendrix was playing in a black club.
Yeah.
And he wasn't sure that he could like walk in the front door, but he managed to kind of slip in so we could see him.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't know that and stuff. But you know, I think a lot of those Elvis Costello went through a certain phase.
Yeah.
Joe Jackson and stuff.
Yep.
So yeah.
Oh yeah, Joe Jackson. That when his stuff came out in the '80s, it was different than all the other stuff that was contemporary at the time. There was just a sort of a mournfulness, a poignancy to a lot of the songs, and then that really kind of jazzy. You felt like, oh, I'm in a smoke-filled bar with a piano bar in New York, you know, and I live here. Never have, at least not in this life, I guess. But anyway, but it was just really. He had a thing all of his own. It was the people that were into new wave and punk and stuff tend to like too. I remember that.
Yeah.
Well, his stuff was kind of edgy.
Well, it is edgy. Yeah.
That's basically your goals. It's just to try to.
Yeah.
You want your own personal stamp so that.
Yeah.
This is Rebecca Parks' music.
Yeah.
This is Gary
Well,
Parks'
I sometimes I joke around with Rebecca and with other people. I go, you know, the stuff we do, we try to make sure it doesn't fit the stereotype of lonely girl barefoot on the dunes as the sun is about to go down, mournfully strumming guitar with her hair blowing back in the breeze and everything.
I've always been a little too tough for that. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
the way I characterize it,
background.
Yeah, there you go.
the way I characterize it, most female artists in music are expected to either be a waif or a vixen.
Yeah.
They're either supposed to be just, you know, really kind of sweet and sensitive and soulful and all of that, and very emotionally vulnerable, or they're supposed to be very sexy and all of that. And I have never fit into either category.
Yeah.
I'm too tough to be wayfish, but I'm not particularly interested in being provocative just for the sake of being provocative either.
Yeah. But I'm wondering if that's the influence of, I guess, Joni Mitchell, maybe some of the black jazz
People
singers.
tried to stereotype her as a waif, but she wasn't having it.
Yeah. But that she had the confidence to protect her own voice.
Oh yeah.
Is that like Nina Simone or somebody like that? They were who they were, and if you try to fit me into something else, it just won't work. And stuff. Is that sort of the integrity that you have as this is my voice, and you take it or leave it and stuff?
Basically, yeah. I mean, as I say, I write what I please because I don't have to appeal to. I don't have to write to order. I don't have to appeal to a particular target market.
Yeah.
I just, I throw it out there and hope that some other people can relate to it.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Why don't you perform
Okay,
some
well,
songs?
I will. We've been talking a long time, which is really great. But yeah, we need to get to the music too. So I will.
I'm sorry, that's probably my fault. I've been asking.
No, that's it. Yeah, always good to have plenty of material, right?
Go ahead and.
You can do a little solo thing right here.
Yeah,
right?
I'm gonna do a few songs.
I'll go over
Well,
here.
I thought I'd start actually with Secret Stage. So
Okay, in that case, we're
we can do that, and yeah, we can start out with both of us, and then I'll do a couple of solo things, and then bring Gary back.
Okay, sure.
Your music and lyrics are the soundtrack of my evenings, surrounding me as I'm sitting at my drawing board. Inspiration, kind goddesses have colorful wings. We have harmony. Home, our secret stage of every age. When we engage, we each play our part in song and art. We know by heart. We know by heart.
Your paintings and etchings are the stage set of my evenings, surrounding me as I'm sitting with guitar in hand. Inspiration, redemption stories flow through the strings. We have harmony. Home, our secret stage of every age. When we engage, we each play our part in song and art. We know by heart. Critics come and critics go, and some may never like our show. But if the world
each other's spirit. Home, our secret stage of every age when we engage. We each play our part in song and art. We know by heart. We know by heart. Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Thank
great.
you.
That's great. Now, what's the backstory to this song?
Well, it's kind of about our relationship, but Gary actually started it. It's his fault.
Oh,
One night we were just, sitting around, and Gary was at his drawing board working on some sketches, and I was sitting. You're in the camera here. You're blocking. Yeah, you're blocking
that's okay.
Angelo there. Okay. But Gary was doing his art, and I was doing my music. I was practicing guitar, and Gary just looked up and said, out of the blue, "Your music is the soundtrack to my evenings."
Oh,
And that, the first line of the song is, "Your music and lyrics are the soundtrack to my evenings." So,
yeah.
yeah.
I like, you guys are very tight in your harmonies and stuff.
Thanks.
How long
thank
did how long did you work that out and stuff?
It came pretty quickly.
Pretty quick.
One really
Oh.
magical thing is that our voices really blend.
Yeah.
Two people can both be individually very good singers, but their voices may or may not blend well, and ours do. So we're very fortunate.
Okay. Does that help? Because I like the blend. When you get to the chorus, there's a wonderful sense of uplift and stuff. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so when you see, you haven't performed this live yet, except for me, I guess.
Well, no, we've performed it live, but it hasn't been released on a recording yet.
Right.
Okay. When you perform it live though, to a notch, is the when you start vocalizing to the chorus, does that lift up the audience and stuff? I mean,
Hopefully.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That type of thing.
I mean, this
that's
is
what
a
I
song
feel when
where
yeah.
that a song is effective when you're singing it and the audience gets quiet.
Yeah.
And this song will
fidgeting
tend to
and
do
fret-
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of your lyrics is that it's a redemptive song and stuff. Is it?
Mhm.
Is it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I try to have all of my songs be redemptive
Okay.
in some way.
Okay. Yeah. This one's more explicit.
Yeah,
your
it's
lyrics.
just, it's kind of, you've been in a relationship a long time.
Yeah.
You're really comfortable with each other.
Yeah.
You appreciate each other.
Yeah.
And it's just, so many songs are about the excitement of love when it's new.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to write a song more about the contentment of
Yeah.
having, really matured together.
Yeah. So I guess a lot of love songs are early stage love. This particular song is about later stage love.
Well seasoned.
And it's also
Yeah.
it's also about appreciating something about each other other than, how hot they are.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
attraction is important, but it's not everything by a long stretch.
Yeah. It's a very mature love song.
Well, yeah, it is. I mean, it's a song about something that happens at home mentally,
Yeah.
as well as the a sacredness of that home environment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It'd be a great song for a wedding.
Well,
Yeah. There's another song on our second album that she wrote originally for me, and it was about communication. And one time after a good friend's wedding reception, which was in a hotel that had a grand piano in the bar.
Wow.
And Rebecca was like, can we play a little something on that? We were just at the such and such reception. Oh yeah, go ahead. And it's like, come on over. And she played that song. It's like,
Oh, wow. That must have been a touching moment.
Yeah, they weren't expecting it. You know?
And then more recently, we played this song, Secret Stage, at Heather Durham's wedding.
Heather, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So,
It's it sounds very, but it sounds in a marriage where it's a song about emotional connection and stuff. Like you were saying, it's not just looks and stuff. That the initial attraction matures and stuff. So that's cool.
Well, next couple of songs I will play, and they will touch upon some of the things that we've talked about.
Okay.
One of them
Give
is
you a little room here and kind of go over there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this one is Part of Me, which I wrote for my best girlfriend and kidney donor.
Yeah.
So, a silent gene, 1,000 cuts. The organs that can never mend. I could be tethered hours each week, awaiting some sad stranger's end. You've given me more words to write, more songs to sing, more lands to see. Your love and courage make me whole. A part of you is part of me. Years of friendship you had known, face the tether or the knife. When that time came, you reached right out to offer me a second life. You've given me more words to write, more songs to sing, more lands to see. Your love and courage make me whole. A part of you is part of me. Not every battle is a contest. Not every priceless gift is stone. Not every bond is blood or marriage. Not every hero's name is known. You've given me more words to write, more songs to sing, more lands to see. Your love and courage make me whole. A part of you is part of me.
That's wonderful. It's a wonderful ode to friendship.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely blew me away that she would be willing to take, a small but significant risk
Yeah.
to save me.
Yeah. I can feel it in the words and stuff, That's cool.
And I'm hoping that this song we'll get out into the world a little bit, because there are tens of thousands of people waiting for a kidney, and a lot of people die waiting, because dialysis, it'll keep you alive for a while, but not as effectively as a kidney. And every year there's about 5,000 living donor kidney transplants, like the one that I had with my friend. You know, she still has one of her kidneys, and she's super healthy, so she'll be fine.
I didn't think to ask that, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they don't let you donate a kidney unless you're super healthy, and she is. There's a lot of need out there, and some people don't even realize that they can do that. I'm really hoping that it, if this song gets out there, that it would encourage people to do that.
Yeah. Well, even if I didn't know the backstory, it's just I can I sense the emotion, the sense of gratefulness to a friend that just the lyrics and the music conveys and stuff. Knowing that, I think the backstory enriches the song, but I don't think you need the backstory. But I think for you want that message to come out and stuff,
Yes.
right? Do you do like when you perform this particular song live and stuff? Do you do a short appeal, or
I introduce the song a little bit.
okay, okay.
It depends. In some situations, like if I'm playing in a noisy bar, I'll just launch into the song and just hope that people will listen. But if I'm in, a coffee house or a concert situation where people are actually paying attention, then I will, maybe talk a little bit longer.
I don't know if that was a silly question.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's not a silly question.
I'm curious then. You mentioned this. Does the environment that you sing in influence the way you perform the songs and stuff? So you pick, a song that you'd sing in a noisy bar would be very different than the song list that you'd pick for a coffee house, or a more captive audience.
Yeah, it really depends.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, well, I'll play one more, and then I'll bring Gary back. This one, we were talking about how I was in a cult, but really there are songs that sort of echo my experience in the cult that don't sound like there are songs about a cult.
Yeah.
This is one of them. It's the one about Germany, and it's called Aftermath.
Yeah.
A busy street in Munich has a sign on the corner. Jewish shops were once attacked and burned. A teacher tells the history of the Reich's rise to power, asking for the hardest lessons learned. The ones who still remember have a look on their faces. Sometimes it comes back in fitful dreams. Reminders in the culture and the laws and the papers. Freedom is more fragile than it seems. They warn their neighbors and their children not to take that sordid path. Through 80 years atonement, they're still haunted in the aftermath. The Nuremberg of rallies is a public park with concerts. Dylan sang a piece where Hitler stood. Descendants of the leaders bear the weight of their surnames. Most of them have tried to do some good. When movements in some countries promise jobs and talk of greatness, Germans have a sense of deja vu. The people so enthralled will often find out the hard way not to trust what's too good to be true. They warn their neighbors sordid path. Through 80 years atonement, they're still haunted in the aftermath. The pen of time writes on and on, but can't erase. Tears of guilt can wash away the dark disgrace. The ghosts of Dachau cry to us unsatisfied. Remembrance cannot bring back all the lives denied. They warn their neighbors and their children not to take that sordid path. Through 80 years atonement, they're still haunted in the aftermath. Let's warn our neighbors and our children not to take that sordid path. Through 80 years atonement, they're still haunted in the aftermath. Haunted in the aftermath.
Wow. It's wonderful. Yeah. You know, I'm curious. When you do your more social justice songs, do you your last song was more, first person. Are your social justice songs more? You mentioned stories. Do you tend to do stories with the more social justice oriented songs, or?
Sometimes not. It really depends.
Okay.
This one, it's not a particular story, but there's, lots of sort of scenes, examples of what they're going through, a line or two.
Okay. Yeah, when I listen to that, I can picture this in a play where, a character singing this song and stuff.
Well.
Yeah, and
It's
stuff.
that Broadway that I listened to growing up.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that and stuff. Subconsciously, does the Broadway stage influence
Somewhat,
creep into your songs?
Yeah.
Okay.
It filters in there because of, it's kind of what I grew up with.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll stay on the social justice theme, and we'll do For What It's Worth, which is an old Buffalo Springfield tune.
Yeah.
It was written in the 60s, but it could have been written yesterday.
Yep, indeed.
And Gary's going to do the lead on this one. Yeah. So...
Something happened in the earth. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there. He's telling me I've got to beware. But it's time we stop, children. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their minds, getting so much resistance from behind. It's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. What a field day for the heat. 1,000 people in the street, singing songs and carrying signs, mostly saying hooray for our side. It's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Strikes deep into your life, it will creep. It's starts when you're always afraid. Step out of line, the man come and take you away. It's time to stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop, children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. When that song first came out, we were about this tall.
Yeah.
And didn't know each other, so we had to cover it later.
Well, Stephen Stills would be very happy.
Yes, yes, yes.
When you do these songs and stuff, do you ever think about doing protests, going to and singing a song?
We've managed a few things over the years.
We've done a few things over the years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Well, you know, it was fun. I mean, but it's really kind of like any performance. I mean,
Okay.
you know, I'm hoping that at a protest people relate to the song and it fits in with the protest. But at the same time, you know, I hope that if somebody hears me in a coffee house and hears, you know, what the song is conveying, that they stop and think
Yeah.
and, you know, reflect on what's happening in the world.
Do you feel more of an inclination because of the times now? Because, you know, this time right now, it can be scary and stuff. And sometimes protest songs are actually helpful and stuff.
Oh, yeah. And you don't want to be intimidated because that's what any authoritarian system wants, is for people to be too scared.
Yeah.
But courage is contagious. And if everybody goes out there and makes it clear that they don't like what's going on, they can actually stop things.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it was public pressure that got Jimmy Kimmel back on the air.
Yeah.
You know, he was denied his free speech, and then it was restored mainly because people made it clear how they felt about it. And there have been people who have been detained by ICE, and the people who know them, you know, in the schools and in the churches and in the communities have basically lobbied for their release, and they have been returned. You know, there's lots that we can still do.
Yeah. I find your songs very hopeful in some ways, even when it deals with dark subjects, because you went through the tunnel and you saw the light on the other side and stuff.
Speaking of which, I don't know how much time we have, but
as many songs as you want.
okay. Yeah, well, I've been playing this one a lot, and this is another one that I do by myself.
Oh.
Maybe you'll have a harmony for it at some point, but
That's something. Yeah, and of course this part you can edit out.
but this
We're
one,
having our little conference, but
I really wrote it to give people hope, and it's based on this famous quote by Margaret Mead. I'm not sure if I can do it absolutely verbatim, but she said, "Never believe that a small group of committed citizens can't change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has."
Yeah.
And so,
It's a wonderful quote.
yeah, and so I tried to do that quote justice in a song.
Oh.
So, about a dozen free black men formed an abolition association. Their papers and their lectures won more people to their cause, spreading through the northern states to half the nation. It took nearly 40 years and a tragic civil war, 3 amendments to our laws to bring
freedom shore to shore. Then and now some say some things can't be done. Don't believe what you've heard, because a small group of people, a small group of people, a small group of people can change the world. It started with 5 women back in 1848, planning the first women's rights convention. At first they thought the right to vote might be too much to ask. Soon it was essential to their intention. It took 72 years and some suffragettes in jail, one amendment to our laws for the women to prevail. Now some say some things can't be done. Don't believe what you've heard, because a small group of people, a small group of people, a small group of people can change the world. Do not be discouraged when you see things as they are. When committed people work together, they go far. If you see injustice and you want to do some good, find like-minded people living in your neighborhood. Then and now some say some things can't be done. Don't believe what you've heard, because a small group of people, a small group of people, a small group of people can change the world. A small group of people, a small group of people, a small group of people can change the world.
Yay. Wow, that was a good. I love that one.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. You mentioned how Joan Baez was an influence on you. Do you feel the when you sing songs like this, do you feel like Pete Seeger, Bob Dylan, Joan Baez at both of your backs when you're like, this is a tradition that you're living up to? And stuff?
Trying.
Yeah.
Doing my best to
trying to
contribute.
continue the idea of quote unquote message songs,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
it seems the recording industry has kind of turned their backs on.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we don't.
Yeah. The last one I can think of that was really a message. Tracy Chapman.
Oh yeah, she's
Talking about a
she's-
revolution.
Yeah.
And there's been a
Yeah.
couple of things, maybe some sort of one-hit wonders or whatever who've gotten through the gatekeepers and do some lyrics that aren't as safe, and actually make you go, oh wow, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But it's been a long time.
Do you sometimes ask the audience to, because this is a catchy chorus and stuff. Do you
Oh,
ask
thank you.
Do you ask the chorus? I know, like the crowd, they're like, come,
If you-
Pete
yeah,
Seeger
well,
used to do that.
Sometimes,
You feel like
but
it, yeah.
oftentimes it just happens anyway.
Oh, okay.
There are times when that happens. Yeah.
I saw Pete Seeger do that once, where
Oh yeah.
come sing with me, And,
Oh yeah.
Oh,
no,
well,
I
did you hear what happened with Pete Seeger in Spain?
No.
The Spanish government at the time, I think Franco was still in charge or something,
Yeah.
but the Spanish government gave him a list of songs that he couldn't play at the concert that he had there.
Yeah.
And he looked at it and it's like, this is almost my entire set list. So what he did was he walked out to the audience and he said, well, I'm not allowed to sing these songs, but they didn't say, you couldn't. And so he just played the music and the entire audience of like 10,000 people sang, you know, If I Had a Hammer and Blowing in the Wind and, all the other stuff. I mean, he covered some Dylan tunes too, but
Yeah.
a lot
I'm
of his own
surprised they'd
stuff.
invite him though. I mean, why
Maybe they
invite
didn't
a
do their
singer to
homework
sing
enough, but
Yeah, I
if
mean,
they don't want him to sing his own songs?
one
I've
wonders.
noticed that deeply entrenched officialdom in general is clueless about a lot of things, especially in the arts.
Okay.
I've worked very much in historic preservation and interface with people who do urban planning and try to save historic buildings and keep the character of our neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And the bureaucrats who drink the Kool-Aid from the money people are not good designers. They don't know about it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it takes the protesters and stuff to come in and educate them before you can make any headway. You have to educate the people in power. It's like, you know what? This is going to leave a great big gap in your city, or there's not going to be any plants here, or everything's going to be neo-modernism that people are going to want to tear down in 20 years anyway. And things like that. And they don't know. They just buy the Kool-Aid from the people with the money, and it happens over and over again.
Well,
And
there is a reason why in the arts and in the sciences, it's not impossible to find conservative people in those fields, but the liberal to conservative ratio is very lopsided.
Yeah.
And it isn't because there's anything really wrong with conservatives, it's that if you are creating something new, if you are exploring what can be done, then to be tethered to the status quo or to, want to, keep things very much as they are or even go backwards, it's just not as conducive to innovation.
I'm reading a book, I just finished a book on this German film director, G.W. Pabst, and there's a when Hitler took over, there was a brain drain, and it was a brain drain of artists and scientists and stuff, and that's it never made sense to me why but authoritarians are actually afraid of artists and scientists and stuff.
Oh yeah, because art is inherently kind of out of control. There's a chaos to the process. And as an artist yourself, you probably understand this. It's like, you have these random associations in your brain that often spark a new idea for a painting or for a song. And you really need to have that kind of freedom of thought and imagination to be able to come up with new things. And totalitarian regimes really want to keep everything very much under control. And
like comedians.
like comedians.
That scared me actually when
It did me too.
because I realized, gosh, if our freedom of speech goes, that's all the other dominoes that hold up our democratic republic is going to fall.
Well, fortunately, there were some very conservative people who were concerned about that. They said, look, I don't really like Jimmy Kimmel, but he should be allowed to
speak.
to speak.
Well, that was the one thing I'm learning about, which conservatives truly believe in the Constitution and which ones are willing to fall behind an authoritarian and stuff. Which ones truly are believing in the Constitution and stuff. So.
Well, I think what it comes down to is being tolerant of pluralism. And there are some conservatives who really would kind of prefer that everybody kind of live a very traditional lifestyle. But they don't panic when some people don't. They believe in leading by example. If the conservative lifestyle is really the best one, well, live that way and show people what a good life it is, and maybe they'll be interested. But then there are other people who just want to stamp out anything that doesn't fit their worldview.
I try not to stereotype all conservatives. I'm glad that you're realizing that or saying that there's a diversity it's like there's a diversity within the left. There's also a diversity within the right.
Well, and there is, and I can speak to that a little bit, although we're going back into personal and American history, recent American history. I had a a Republican dad and a Democrat mom.
Oh, yeah.
Where they agreed very solidly was on environmentalism.
Oh.
As a kid, I watched a lot of bureaucratic red tape happen where I was living. The Board of Supervisors where I lived was primarily pretty liberal. The one conservative was not the most warm and fuzzy character. In fact, I helped my mom paint posters for the recall campaign on that person. But I noticed there was all this bureaucratic red tape. If you wanted to add a little something onto your house, you had to wait like 2.5 years for the permitting process and pay all these fees. Oh, and that takes a fee, and that takes a fee. And I was like, that's stupid. Picture I'm 17, right? That's stupid. Yeah. And my dad was like, I'm just going to build our patio and greenhouse anyway, and I'm going to build it fully seismically sound. It'll never fall down, and we just won't say anything. And a lot of our neighbors were doing the same thing. And liberal or conservative, didn't matter. Yeah. Well, anyway, so here I was registering to vote for the first time at 18 as a Republican. Now, I was also a member of Greenpeace. Yeah. I was helping clear trails in Nicene Marks Park in the Santa Cruz Mountains. I was recycling, and all that. I didn't see any conflict at the time. It was like, why am I conservative? Spend money carefully, and conserve things, and it's okay to make money off of solar panels and wind power, which are just starting to show up. It's okay. There's financial benefits to this too. Everybody wins, But as the years progressed in the 80s, I just was like, no. And I was independent for a long time, and eventually I did the Democrat thing. But I have plenty of criticism of stereotypical Democrat stuff.
I don't think, because we're human. Anything that is human beings is going to have flaws. Whether the Democrats or Republicans and stuff. It's
greed. Can affect anybody.
But just because you can't ever achieve perfection doesn't mean that you shouldn't strive to be better.
Yeah.
Because there's always,
in order to form a more perfect union.
The polished little poetic way of saying that I came up with was, perfection is unattainable. Strive for it nevertheless, that the world be a little bit better for your having done so. So, that's just kind of if you want to write something on your tombstone or whatever, it's important to you, I think that's a good one, I don't know if I want to spend the money to get that done, but it's a nice idea.
Well, thank you both and stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for coming to my, and
thank you for
coming to
asking to interview us. It was really fun.
Yeah. Like I said, I do this for fun and stuff because I caregive and stuff, and this is a good way to break out of my isolation, and also just to get to know interesting. Like I've known you for 15 years, but I don't, I never really knew much about the inspiration.
We talked art. I was doing my Egyptian stones and my mural painting and stuff,
and your neon stuff,
and the neon, and then I've been watching you. Your look. You can still tell it's you from 15 years ago, but it's gotten more sophisticated, and the ideas have gotten even richer and everything. So it's been kind of fun to see that.
Well, thank you both and stuff.
Thank you.
I'm trying to think if I have anything else to say, but I'm sure. I wish you luck in your new 3 albums, and I hope for a fruitful connection with people who will be touched by your music.
Thank you.
Well, we hope that too.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, my love, how was your day? It sounds like you have got a lot to say. This motor